What are you guys celebrating? What awesome things have been going on in your business yesterday? Put it in the chat or unmute yourself. You have to say something. You have to say something. What you're celebrating.
I got my auto ship hooked up and it starts this month. I've been meaning to do it for a while, but I finally did it.
That is a huge thing to celebrate. I did that at the end of last month because last month I didn't have an auto ship run through like I thought I did. And I finally at the end of the month I set one to run, I think on like the 3rd or something of April. But it felt so good to do it, like, oh, good, it's done. It's an auto ship, it'll just run. I'll get free shipping because I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, why am I paying for shipping? Why am I like, this is so dumb. It needs to just be an auto ship, so it's free. So that's awesome. So good. Yay. Kaylee enrolled a new PA last night. That is so cool. Was this your first one, or do you have other ones that you've already signed up?
This is my second.
Oh my gosh. That's all you need is 2.
I know. That's exciting.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, when I look at my report so at the end of the month, it's called a low hanging fruit report. My liaison sends it to me and it shows me all the people on my team and it shows me how far they are away from hitting their next thing. So maybe it's like hitting builder or hitting pro or executive or elite or whatever the next rank is. It shows how far away they are from that. And then it shows like if they need like 1 or 2 PAs still, and if they need their 100 PV. And so basically it shows me like the easiest people that I can help get to their rank, and then like the little bit harder, and then like the harder. So it helps me to message people that are super close to their rank. And most people have all of the things that they need, besides they only have 1 ambassador. Like if they were to get a second ambassador, they would be executive sometimes, or builder, or like, yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like one girl she signed up and worked the business for a while, and then she kind of fell back. And I was like, all you need is 1 ambassador and you're literally going to get paid for bronze. Like, what are you doing? Like, go and pay for someone's account, or just like go give someone money and say, here, sign up. I'll pay for your business. Like, I'm like, you're literally going to get $1,700. Like, that's crazy. So many people are just 1 ambassador away. So congratulations. So cool. Big piece of advice that I can give you is, now that you have this ambassador, go message everyone you have that's been on the fence and tell them, hey, I know you've been interested. I know we kind of talked about Q a little bit, but I just signed someone up last night. And if you sign up, by the time I have to move them into my organization, I can actually put them on your team, but you have to sign up like ASAP. So I'll already start building and helping you for you. And when I do that, I usually always, like, I never just sign 1 person. I always will sign at least 2 to 4 on average, because I use them. Then I get that second person that says, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it. So I put that original person underneath them. And then I go, and now I have like this string. Have you guys ever played Roller Coaster Tycoon? I think I've asked this before. Okay. So I'm glad somebody has, because you'll totally get my feeling. So I picture like picking up this person, like in the theme park, this ambassador. And now you have like a string of people, as you move it, this like string of all these people are going to move, and then you can like put them where you want them. That's kind of how I feel, is you're going to pick up like these 2 people now, and you're going to like use them as, like, I hate saying bait, but just for the analogy purpose, like, to be like, hey, oh my gosh, I know I messaged you yesterday and told you that I had someone that I could put on your team. Okay, now I have 2 people. Like, how crazy, if you sign up now, I'm going to give you both of these people, and then that person signs up, and then you go and message everyone else again, even the people who never responded to your first or second message, and say, hey, it's me again. I know you didn't respond to my last 2 messages, but I seriously have 3 people now to give you. I am like mind blown, but you have to sign up. Like, what are you waiting for? And then, sometimes they don't. And I know that if I really like leverage and offer that to people and they still don't sign up, I know that after maybe like 2 or 3, like, oh my gosh, I have this for you. And if that doesn't work, they're just totally not ready. that's like my final thing where I'll just say like, okay, I get it. Like, no worries. You know what? You take some time and really think about what you want and watch me on Facebook. And I would love to send you a bunch of samples. If you want to send me your address, I can send you some things. And then just be very patient. I pull back. I just get very patient. So I'm like kind of letting my foot off the gas and not to ruin the relationship, because I know, like, honestly, the timing isn't right. And sometimes the timing isn't right. Like, people are going through things where I'm like, oh God, and you wanted to start a business right now? Like, this is not a good time to start a business. Like, so some people, it's just not the right time. And even for us, when we said yes to this opportunity, it was at the perfect timing for us. And I have a lot of people who say yes, totally bomb, and then come back in like a year and they're like, I want to get started back in my business. Back then, things weren't right. I wasn't in the right headspace, and now I'm ready for it. And then they are successful. So it's all about people's timing too, but use that person as leverage to go get more people and show them, one, how our team builds and how simple it is to sign people. And you're also going to be able to show them that they're not doing this alone, that you're here to help them. Like, they're going to feel like, oh, okay, I have a mentor who's a step ahead of me. And everyone wants two things. They want a mentor and they want a proven system. So you can say, I'm your mentor. I just signed you 3 people. I clearly know what I'm doing. You know, you don't have to like really believe that right now. Like, you do need to work on that, because you're never going to get to where you need to be without totally believing that you can do this. But sometimes we have to kind of fake it a little and say like, oh no, I will get you to the next place. I'm your girl. I'm your mentor. Because you know what? Maybe you don't know, but you know someone who knows. So you know your person's going to be successful because you're going to help them as best as you possibly can, and then connect them to other leaders and people who know more in different areas. So they can't fail unless they decide that they want to fail. So anyone who signs an ambassador, that's like super good information for that. Lena, I am so jealous that you're in a tank top and you're outside in the sun. Oh, it's supposed to be almost 80 degrees here in Michigan today, though. Did you guys know that, who live by me? Almost 80 degrees, my husband said yesterday. So I was like, what? It's like, it hasn't been that hot like this whole year. So I'm jealous. Are you at the beach again? Is that where you are? Are you facing the water? Okay, good. I'm like, wait, are you like, I was picturing you standing on this beach facing the water and like your toes were in the water. But still, you're at the playground. That's so nice. Oh my gosh. I don't think my kids have ever been up this early to be at a playground. All your kids though are early risers. Lena has like 100 kids.
No, there's only 5 and they get up at 5.
Oh my dear Lord. 5 get up at 5. Maybe if you have a few more, they'll get up later. Maybe have like 7. They could get up at 7. That might be good. You're like, I'd rather wake up earlier than have 2 more kids. Yeah, everyone keeps asking us, I don't know, because I guess that's like the age, you know, when your youngest is like 2 or 3. I guess when your youngest is whatever, people will ask you, are you having more kids? Are you done? You know, that's just like a common question. And so people have been asking me that lately about Skylar. I'm like, oh, we are done. We are so past that little itty bitty phase. Now I want everyone around me to have little babies so that I can love them and hold them and go to convention, bring your little baby so that I can be in the daycare in the back and I'll just hold everyone's kids. I would love it. Okay, so great thing to celebrate, Kaylee. So cool. Really make a list, really follow up, really try to get those people off the fence. And when I first joined and I was first building, what I would say to people is I would say, just so you know what's happening right now where I have placement for you and building this team, this is literally the importance of timing. I am not stopping until I build this thing huge. You know me, you know I'm not going to stop at anything, and I'm going to build this so big. The sooner you sign up, the more people I'm going to be able to place underneath you. If you sign up next year, all these people are going to be above you. And so think about it, because if you really aren't thinking about this, like, you have to act fast. And I'm not just saying that to like trick you into ordering. I always tell people that. I'm not trying to like trick you into ordering, but I've seen it happen. Like I've seen people that if they would have signed up like April, perfect example, April here on the Zoom. If April would have messaged me the very beginning, she would have been placed at the top of one of my legs and she would have a team right now of 40,000 volume. She would have one team of 40,000 volume. So her other leg is all she would have to focus on and would be able to hit her ranks that much faster. And that is the beauty of Q because you're not in it by yourself. You're not in it alone. You have people that are literally recruiting and helping you. Sometimes, I know sometimes we are placed, like for me, it sucks it sucks. Like, I know, like, I get it. I feel you. Like, if you're placed somewhere where your leader isn't helping you build because they have to focus somewhere else or because you signed up somewhere, that happens. And that actually happened to me. So when I joined under Kristen, I took off like crazy. And so Kristen was like, oh my gosh, I need to keep up with all this volume. So Kristen was over in her second leg and then her third leg. And then she went back to her second leg. And then she went to my leg for a little bit. And then she switched back over. Like she gave Sarah Sabatini's on here. Hi, Sarah. She gave me Sarah. Sarah was I signed up and Kristen was like, I waited for like a week when I signed up. I signed up and I just like sat there because I was like, how do I want to do this? Like I knew that this was going to be my final build in network marketing and I wanted to insert my grandma in. I wanted to insert my sisters, my mom. I wanted to build out like good solid legs for all of my people. And then my team, I had not very many people from my team that were coming over, but I wanted them to have really good place. And I was like strategic. I talked to a couple other top people in Q, like, tell me how I should do this. I want to help my grandma. How should I do that? And so I kind of sat for a week and Kristen didn't really know me that well. And so she's like, oh gosh, like this girl isn't going to do anything. So she signed up Sarah Sabatini, put her on my team and sent me a message. And she was like, oh my gosh, I just gave you an ambassador. I am so excited to watch you build this thing. See how easy that was? You already got your first ambassador. So I'm going to introduce you to her. You guys can get to know each other. She put us in a three-way. And I remember sending like, Sarah, we sent so many voice messages back and forth, like 15 voice messages. And then she'd send me 15 back. And then I would send her 15. And we just started talking. We were so excited about Q, but Kristen didn't know what I was about to do. And so then I went and signed. I have a really large family and everyone thankfully is very supportive. And I knew everyone would want to get in. And so then I just started blowing up. And then Kristen's like, okay, I didn't even have to give her Sarah because now I need volume over here. So it's just what happens. Sometimes you get in the perfect placement where you're underneath someone who's a huge recruiter and they need volume in that leg and they're just stacking and building underneath you. And you know what? Good job for doing that. Like getting that and being lucky. It's literally just based on luck. And if you're in another place, let me just tell you this, because I've seen this happen so many times. I've been in the conversation with so many leaders. I just want you to know that your leaders know what you do. If you are showing up and you are honest and you are consistent, you don't have to be good. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be producing. But if you are plugged in and you are honest when you fall off the bandwagon, and if you keep trying to make yourself better and you have an auto ship on and you're doing all the things and get on the calls, I promise you, someone in your leadership notices you. Somebody does. If you don't think they do, I promise you that they do. They see you and they know you. And I've been in the conversation so many times where we've had an opportunity to bless someone with something. And we literally look at who is the person always showing up, always working the hardest. We don't look to say who brought in the most volume all the time. Sometimes it's like who's bringing in the most, we're going to go recruit down there. But you, by doing the right thing and showing up and working hard, I promise you, your time will come when someone somewhere starts helping you build. I promise you. There has been people that I've said that to them and then they've quit. And then I go back and I'm like, oh my gosh, look, now I'm building in exactly where they were. Exactly where they were. Now I'm building. And perfect example, I was building in a completely different spot. And all the people that I was building under were totally not showing up. They were not getting on calls. They weren't going to convention. They weren't. And so I saw this other girl who was Miss Jada Stacy on our team, who was over here just killing it, doing everything, showing up, putting herself out there, doing the scary things, reaching out for help, showing up, figuring it out on her own. And I saw that and thought, why am I helping all these people down here who do not care? They're not plugged in. They're not fully committed when this girl over here is going to every convention, getting on every call. And so I changed and started building under her and was like, she was in my same leg. I needed volume. And so I'm like, I'll just recruit wherever. And so I went and started helping Jada recruit. So I promise you, by showing up and doing the right things, someone will notice and you will get help for them. And it might not be now and it might not be in a year, but it will happen. It will happen. Be patient. Don't burn your bridges with your upline. So many people do that. And I'm like, do you even realize what you're doing right now? You're like going and talking crap about your upline and becoming their enemy. And like, they literally have a chance to give you people and help you tremendously. Like, so I don't understand when people do that, but I mean, they can help you so much. So just hang on to that little hope if you feel like, man, I'm on an island. But also I want you to know that not everyone has really close upline relationships. And if you feel like maybe you're on a different team, I hope that nobody feels like this on our team, because I think we do a really good job of this. But it's because our team isn't super big and we're not like massively exploding in growth right now. Sometimes when certain teams grow all teams, anytime a team grows like super fast, people get left in the cracks and they fall through. And that's what happened when I got in and we ran to platinum so fast. There were people that fell through the cracks. So if you feel like you're in a crack right now and you're like, okay, I'm like all alone and don't really feel like I have someone to like brainstorm with or throw ideas back and forth with, what you need to do is message me after this and tell me that you want me to add you into our Breakfast Club chat. It's a chat for everyone who gets on these live Zooms every day. And what we do, you don't even have to be getting live. I didn't mean to say that. You don't have to be getting on live to be in the chat, and you don't have to get on every day. But if you do watch these pretty frequently and the recordings, you'll want to be in that chat because it's where we put all the resources at when we talk about them on the calls. Like if we talk about a tracker that we have and we're using, we'll put that in the chat so that anyone on any team can find it and use it. But join that chat, and then, and I'm like just waiting until someone said something with it. They're like, that's kind of risky, putting all these people in a chat that are like on different teams. And, you know, what if someone like joins a different company and comes in and takes their people? I'm like, don't put that fear into my head. Like now I'm like, okay, if you're a bad person though, don't join the group. But no, I know. And if that happened and you went into a different company, then good for you. That's where you're supposed to be anyway. So I don't really care. I don't have scarcity like that. I believe everyone is where they are for a reason. There's enough success to go around. So come into the group and make some sideline sister connections. Yes, Lindsay says I'm a sideline sister. This live in the chat has been immensely helpful for me. Awesome. I'm so glad that it helps you. So get in here and make a connection. Go into that chat and find people that you see on here that you're like, ooh, I want to be friends with them, and send them a message and set up a one-on-one call with them. Like, hey, I want to set up a one-on-one. Okay, cool. And let's get on Zoom, or let's call each other on the phone, and then just start talking to them. Like, what do you struggle with the most? Okay, well, I struggle with this. And what do you do about this? Do you have a message with this? And what do you think about when Taryn said that one time? And did you read that one book? And what are you doing right now that's helping you? And just build connections and talk to each other, because you don't need an upline necessarily to help you in your business. You just need someone to throw ideas back and forth with. Just someone to brainstorm with, someone to message and to talk to, and to tell them exciting things that happen. Like, oh my gosh, I just had to share this with someone. Look at what this girl just said. Like anything like that is so fun to have with a sideline person. Some of my deepest connections and best friends in Q are sideline people. They're not even people that are in my up or down line. So it's so cool to be able to meet and connect. And I didn't know them before Q, and I just started to know them. And then when you go to convention, you get to meet up and you can room together or whatever. Like, it's just so cool to see. We really have this whole community of these amazing men and women that want to uplift one another, that want to have a better life for their families, for this world. They want better health. Like, we have this whole community of people that are trying to better themselves. People out there would kill to be a part of something like this. Like the whole book, Believe It by Jamie that we're listening to, she talks about that. If you aren't around positive people and you're not in a good influential circle, you need to change your circle. And then she talks about how to change your circle and ways that you can do that and who you can look for. And she talks about how hard it is to find a circle. And I was thinking, like, she's right. I'm so blessed that I just have this circle of people. So you have all these people to pick from. If you feel like you don't relate to anyone, it's because you just haven't found your person. Go into other groups, look at those people's profiles, try to find someone that you feel like, oh, this person is like me. This person really relates to me. Maybe they're your same age. Maybe they have the same amount of kids as you. Maybe if you don't have kids and you're like, wow, I feel like I just really get lost because everyone around me has little kids and they're always talking about like how to juggle their little kids with their business. I don't really have that. So go find people who don't have little kids that you can relate to. Go find someone who is in the season of life that you're in, that you can build a business side by side with them, because that will make it stronger for you. That will make your connections deeper. That is like the greatest thing that I can tell you, because anything you do in life is all about your network. It's all about your connections. So right now you should be making as many connections and friendships with people in Q as you possibly can. Like really, really do that, because we have a huge group of people here literally in the palm of our hands that we don't even utilize or get to know. So I think that that's very highly underestimated. But okay, I totally like spaced out on the chat.
Hey, Taryn.
Yes.
Just in that, on that same note, Meg from I don't know whose team, who I met at Dive 365. What's that?
She's on Katie Bristow's team.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I met her at Dive 365, and her and I have chatted like a few times, and she's even put me in like a 3-way chat with one of her prospects who's with Beachbody. And we like just throw ideas around back and forth sometimes, and we just chat and about Q and what we're doing. And so she's like, I've been super helpful. She's told me I've been super helpful to her, and she's been super helpful to me too with just other ideas that she has about things that she does. So yeah, it's absolutely true.
And it's so cool when they're in a totally different team, because we do things totally different. So when you get to hear like, wait, so how do you do this? And they're like, oh, we have this form. You're like, send me the form. I want to see what it is. And, you know, to see how other people track, how other people plan their week, how they, yeah, that's super cool. Yeah. Good job, April, for being in the gym. Look at you go. Awesome.
My husband started going with his friend. My husband started going with his friend, and they don't have to wear masks there. So I'm probably going to be changing gyms or just working out at home.
My gym's too far for you. I forgot.
Yeah, my aunt goes there too, but it's a little bit too far. But like literally wearing a mask, like working out is awful.
I just couldn't. I wouldn't do it. I'd be outside. I'm just not a mask wearer though. I just like can't. But okay, what else? Oh, I'd love to see your 90-day plan you talk about for new ambassadors. Oh, so that's really not a plan. I mean, it's not like a visual, here's your 90 days. Really, it's just, we like work it out. So a lot would come into it. So we send them a launch link, which I can send to you. It's actually just linktree.com/the freedom movement. And that's what we send everyone when they first join, and tell them there's 12 steps on here for you to complete. And the very last step is a form where you'll have to fill out answers. And after you submit that, just shoot me a message and let me know, when do you think you can get this done? You can do it all in one sweep, which takes about 2 hours, or you can break it up. We just ask that you do it within your first 48 hours so that it's fresh in your head, and then we can connect. And then they tell me when they can do it, and I say, okay, cool, let me know when you're done. So you can walk through and you can see all those steps of what we have them do. And then I get all their answers. And so their answers are pretty cool for me to see beforehand, to see like kind of who I'm working with, what kind of things. So it tells me on there, I have them fill out like what is their why and who are the 5 top people that they want on their call, who are the 2 most influential people that they know, how much money do they want to make and how fast, what color personality they are, how do they feel loved, if it's like quality time, gifts, words of affirmation, things like that. What types of gifts do they like to receive? And I tell them to buy the 4 color personalities of MLM by Big Al, and to tell their sponsor that they completed the Launch Academy, and they say done. So then they submit this and I get this. And so what I do is I want to know, like, I really want to know right away, like I'm kind of trying to like, I'm trying to give someone like a grade right away, like based on why they want to do this, how much money they want to make and how fast, what color personality they are, and their influence. I can pretty much tell you how successful someone's going to be in a time frame. So if somebody comes in and says, I'm all in, sky's the limit for work, they're a red personality that's driven, they're competitive, I'm like, okay, those 2 things, if it says like, who are the 5 people and why do you want them on your team? And if they're like, oh, this person has done network marketing before, this person owns their own business, was just looking for another stream of income. Like if their people are like very influential and very open, where I feel like, oh, if they hear this opportunity, they're going to be interested. And then if their why is something like, I want to retire my husband, or if it's just something big, like a big goal, I'm really trying to see like how far someone thinks ahead. Like, what is your why? If you're like, because I want to be able to pay my cable bill every month for $50. I'm like, okay, that's literally doing this for $50. Like, I know that person, one, probably hasn't had a lot of development, like self-development in their life. They don't really know, like, dream big, think big, sky's the limit type of things. So they're going to start lower on the self-development schedule down here. So it's going to take them longer. So I'm kind of trying to see, like, on a timeline, like, how long is this really going to take you based on like who you are and what you are and right now. And so if someone is pretty influential, they're driven, they're like, I'm doing this to build my dream home, or I'm doing this to have 100,000 in savings, like something big. I know that that person probably is going to hit executive within their first month. Like, I'm pretty confident, like, okay, I know you can hit executive. So I'm going to say you can go executive in your first month. Like, they could go higher, but I'm just going to say executive. If someone doesn't have those things, if I ask them who their 5 are and they're like, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, my father-in-law, and my boyfriend. And then I'm like, who are the 2 most influential people you know? And they're like, my mom and dad. And then I'm like, okay, so you don't really have like people in business, or you don't really have like this influence circle. And then if I ask them like, why do you want to do this? And they're like, just to take products. Someone like that, now, can they hit executive? Absolutely, they can. But I'm not going to talk about executive. Someone like that, I would talk more like, okay, do you want to focus on customers, or do you want to focus on building a team? And if you don't have any influence at all, then you should probably just start focusing on customers. Now, should you not ever mention being an ambassador? Absolutely not. But you should offer the opportunity. And if they say no, fall back on customers, and really just have customers be your original goal in the first place, but just offering the opportunity just to see what happens. But knowing like, okay, customer, that's what I wanted anyway. And really, once you start building those relationships and the trust with customers and they reorder, that's when you can get them to trust you enough to get them to be like, hey, I know you take our products and you really like them. Do you want a chance to win a Peloton bike, a Lululemon mirror, $1,500 Amazon gift card? You should get on one of our calls that we have. Just by getting on, you can get an entry. And that's something that our team's doing right now, is running this incentive for the next few months. And But you could just say, like, you could offer, before we did that, we were offering our customers like 7-day samples of energy drinks, or a bag of Twist, or hemp oil, or a roll-on, or a vitamin spray, and saying like, hey, I'm giving away a free sleep spray tonight to anyone who gets on this call and watches my friend Taryn tell her story. Just for getting on, you can message me and say done, and I'll enter you in. And there should only be a few people, so your chance of winning is super high. And I know you already take our trim and our energy drinks and you love them. So it'll be cool to try the sleep spray, but also you can hear about our other products we have too. So maybe if anyone you know is struggling, that you can have them get on too. And so you can get people on there too that way, but you should be focusing more on customers if you have low influence. If you have someone who has low influence and you tell them, okay, we're going to go and we're going to sign 15 new ambassadors this month and get you to executive, that is probably not going to happen. And that's very overwhelming for someone. They're probably not even going to sign 2. I mean, if you have no influence, if you have no influence, think of what influence is. Influence is when people trust you because they know you and they know what to expect from you, and they trust that whatever you say is true. So the only way you can build influence with someone is over time and showing up consistently in an authentic form, being honest, and being someone who is giving value to another person. So if you don't have the opportunity to do that, people aren't going to trust you. And we're in an industry where, one, a lot of people are skeptical of because they just don't know. And 2, we're offering them positions that are paid on commission, which is also something that's very like, oh, no, I'm not looking for commission. So we have 2 things that we're trying to combat for people. Now, if you get the right person like me, they will be excited about the fact that this is a different business model, and they'll be excited that it's paid on commission, because I would beg my corporate boss to pay me commission. I'm like, can you please take me off of salary? Like, please, I want to work hard and know that I'm in control of my income. Like, figure out what we can do, please. And the reason why I ended up quitting there, like the bottom read, like the base decision that I made, was because I didn't have vision in that company. I kept telling my boss, what is next? I am like a person that needs to know like what I'm striving for, what's to come, what we're working towards. And then I need to know that I'm going to work hard and make more money, and I'm in charge of that. And he just kept saying, Taryn, just be patient. Just be patient. You're going to be taken care of. Just be patient. And after 5.5 years, I was like, I can't be patient any longer. Like, what is coming up? What is next? What is going on? And so I needed that. So there are people out there, maybe you're like that too, where you just have to find those people. If you have the wrong people, they're going to be like, oh, that's a scam. I'm not working on commission. Well, they're not the right person. You're looking for people that are entrepreneurial minded. A lot of people aren't entrepreneurial minded. So you're just looking for those types of people. So when we say you're just sorting apples, that's really all you're doing. You're just like, oh, red apple, yellow apple, green apple, red apple, yellow apple, green apple. And then you take all the green apples and you talk to them about Q, and some of them will say yes and some of them will still say no. And that's okay. That's all you're doing. You're looking for 10 people out of 100. So if you keep that in your head of, I'm just sorting people, this isn't for everyone. And not everyone is someone who I would even want on my team. Remember, you get to choose who you work with. I'm telling you right now, after almost 6 years of experience in network marketing, I am so glad that I finally figured out my own worth of my own time, because I used to give my time to every single person and I would beg them to join my team, beg them. And they were totally not even my ideal person. And I would beg them to sign up. And then everything was so hard because I would beg them to get on an opportunity call. I would beg them to show up for their launch. I begged them to do a Fab 5. I begged them to go to convention. I begged them to, and it was like, at the end of the day, what did it do? Because they quit and they weren't here for it anyway. So what did it do for me? It took away 20 hours that I wasted on someone who wasn't even supposed to be here, that I pushed into this. I ruined them because now they're like, okay, that was a terrible experience. I hated working for Q. And then now I'm like, well, that was a waste of time. And so like, what did it even do? And now your confidence is even lower because you're like, well, I suck. Like, gosh, I finally got an ambassador. And then a month later they quit. They never even reordered. And then you start to feel bad on yourself. Like, maybe I'm not meant for this. This sucks. What's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? I feel like I get on the calls. I feel like I take notes. I go to convention. Like, what? I have to be missing something. You're not missing anything. You're really not. You are just working with the wrong people, and now just learn that lesson and now move on and say, my time is worth a lot. I have an amazing opportunity, and I'm not going to take time away from my family to spend it with someone who's not the right fit for my company anyway. Crystal, your message, she says, I feel displaced with my job right now. I would love to be able to make more money in Q full time because I'm constantly thinking about it and how many new people I can connect with and possibly help. Thankful of the support for everyone I've met through Q. Really want to hit elite this month after maintaining executive the last 3 months. That's awesome. Staying focused, praying, hoping this is where I'm supposed to be because I love it. Oh, I love that so much. That is so cool. So, one thing that I want to tell you about that is that Sarah Spencer will tell you to not even think about, and I know you're like not actually going to quit your job, but she says not even to think about quitting your job until you're making at least 6 figures, and not to do it until you have several conversations with the FFM team. And me, I can tell you, when I hit gold, which is when you make 6 figures, when I hit gold, I told John, I was like, you should quit your job. You should totally quit your job. Like, let's just do something crazy. And Sarah was like, why would he quit his job? Like, he's making extra money to help you pay off debt too. Like, why? He's a completely healthy, able-bodied person. Don't quit his job. And then I was really good friends with this couple who they actually were the original, part of the original founding leaders of Beachbody. And they were the top earners in Modere and the top earners at Miriam, and just had like super successful. And I was so blessed to be really close friends with them, John and I, for about 2 years. We were really, really close and traveled together, and they had made over $10 million in network marketing. And so they had built teams of millions of people, like literally it was so cool to be with them and to hear them talk and for them to tell me. And she said, don't you dare let John quit that job. And I was like, why? And she was like, because I'm telling you what, if you think that your paycheck in Q is going to be high and just keep going up and up and up and up forever, you are sadly mistaken. In this industry, when you start making enough money and you get to 6 figures, it will drop in a second, but it will also rise in a second. So that's why Jake and Sarah were so like specific of what you have to do in FFM, because they saw so many of their friends make millions of dollars in network marketing and then be filing for bankruptcy a year later. So they knew that when you made more money, they needed to instruct people on what to do. Like, okay, wait a second. You may feel like you made it. You may feel like you just got a $3,000 check and holy crap, this is the most money I've ever made. Calm yourself down. You don't need all those clothes and all those decorations for your house and all those things that you thought you needed. You don't need to go out to eat now and go do all the, let's look at your debt, put this amount of money into there, and let's pay off some debt. And so it's so great that they do that. But even a lot of people that I know that are top earners, not a lot, everyone. So once you get to the level of like 6 figures, people are really only doing one thing. Like, they're really doing network marketing. But when you get past that like initial 6-figure mark, that's when other people start adding in additional streams of income. Like, almost every single top earner that I know in this industry, I mean, Brandon Stevens just opened his like 12th business or something like that. Mary Ellen Frank Filipponi have other businesses. Like, there's other investments. Maybe it's not you're spending time in a traditional business, but you start another business, or you're doing other things with investing, or you're doing other things to make your money work for you. So what I recommend doing, if anyone is miserable in their job of what they're doing now and they're just trying to like get through because you have to do it, I would, one, make sure that you talk to FFM to figure out exactly what you need to do in your job and as you make money. I would, two, also look at, is there a different job that you can switch to doing that you're still doing your typical 9 to 5, you have your consistent income or whatever you're working with, you have that, and you're just a little happier there. And figure out, maybe you just change careers and go into something different that'll bring you more joy and make you more excited, because the happier you are at work and the more successful you are at work, the more successful and happy you're going to be at Q. The more connections that you're going to make, the more people that are going to be drawn to you. If you hate your job and you're miserable every day, you're not going to be able to call people on the way home and be all excited and pumped up and recruiting them. You're going to be miserable when you get home, and you're going to be miserable in your relationships, and it overflows into your whole life. So either find something about your job that you can start to like and really stop focusing on, I can't wait to leave, I can't wait to leave, and think, is there something here that I really could feel fulfilled doing and pour my heart into and feel like I'm making a difference? And if the answer is no, and you're with toxic people, or the company doesn't have a mission you align with, or you're not doing what you want, then go make that risky move and go apply for other jobs and change jobs to be in something that makes you happy and something that you're in, until you can get to a place where you can say, okay, I'm going to quit that job because now my money has replaced it, and I have 4 months saved in an emergency fund in case something happened. And now I'm going to go find something else to do. Or now I'm going to go make even more money to be able to do this. Really, the point when you need to quit your job is like what happened to Kristen Adams. Her going to work at the hospital was costing her team money. I remember when she'd be like, I have to work tonight. And I'm like, Kristen, you can't work tonight because I need you tomorrow. Because if she worked tonight, she was sleeping tomorrow. And I'm like, we have a busy day. I have like 3 people that need to be launched. I have all these people. And so I'm like, you can't do this. And that was when we first were all taking off. And she's like, I have so many people that need me. I can make so much money here. Like, I can't keep working. And that's when she made the decision, because everyone on her team, like, basically bullied her into quitting. We were like, you can't keep working. It's not fair. We need you, like, to us, not working in the hospital, taking calls and saving lives. We need you here saving us. But I would, and they're not available in Canada. So what I would do then is I would have a call with Jada, and I would have her talk to you about different things with FFM, because anyone who's gone through the FFM program can tell you things that you need to do first. Like, I can tell you the very first things that FFM told me, and then you can go do them. I can tell you about the apps that they told me to get, or the websites to go to for information, the accounts to have set up, the way your business is set up, how to start saving money. Like, you don't really need an FFM coach to tell you the basics. Now, obviously, Jada's not going to coach you out of debt and don't blame Jada if it doesn't work out. But I mean, she can tell you the basics of what to do and what she's learning. And then maybe you can get questions and you can go have Jada take them to her FFM coach, and then they can give you answers to help you. And I'm sure that someone at FFM, if you sent a message and just said, you can email ffm@qsciences.com and just say, I'm in Canada and I know that you don't offer coaching and legal advice and all of that stuff for me here, but is there someone that would be willing to just get on a call with me and I can just ask a couple questions about my business and where my head should be at financially? I bet you that they would do that. Honestly, I bet you they would. And if they say no, then send me a message and I'll figure out a way for you to be able to do that. Because the only thing that they can't do is with the tax stuff and investment stuff, but they can talk to you as a friend. They can do that, because FFM is the biggest tool. If anyone is not using FFM, you should be sending an email today and saying, I need to set up a call. And maybe you've never set up a call before, but maybe you have and you were doing calls and you haven't done one in a while. Send a message and say that I need to reset up my calls. I need to talk to someone. And that is a huge, huge thing, because they've all built $1 million businesses in network marketing. So they can tell you what to do. They can tell you what percentage you should be putting towards your business every single month. They can tell you, if you have X amount of money, what you should be doing to invest back in your business with this amount of money. Like, they can tell you all of that, which is just super, super cool and helpful for sure. So we have, oh yeah, and the trainings, good point, Sarah. The trainings that Sarah does on Q News on Thursdays. Yeah, those are good, about finances. And then there's some stuff too in the app that Jada could send you if it's not in your app, videos and stuff, like the basics. That's a really good point. But okay, so we have some calls that are coming up. We have an opportunity call tonight with Kalina Riboyne. And if you want to take a screenshot of this, Kalina is she's a homeschool mom. She has 4 kids. She and her husband were missionaries in Costa Rica. And when COVID happened, they came back here to the US. They were kind of kicked out of Costa Rica. So they're here, but she is a board certified holistic health practitioner and a registered nurse. She's a platinum ambassador, meaning she's making $15,000 a month, and she sits on the Equity Council. She's been in Q for about 2 years, and she is so smart and knows so much and has been trained by Jake to present. She is a phenomenal presenter. So good. So that is happening tonight. So here's my challenge for all of you. We spend a lot of time on social media and getting our posts done. We spend a lot of time introducing ourselves to new people, wishing people happy birthday. I want you to focus the majority of your time today on inviting people onto Kalina's call, and to think of, out of the people that are on your follow-up list. So one, if you don't have an actual follow-up list of everyone who's been interested in Q that hasn't signed up yet, you need to do that. That is a huge thing that you need to do. Maybe get a new piece of paper and go through your IPA sheets and anyone that you remember, or go through what I do if I haven't done this in a while is I'll go through my messenger and I'll just grab anyone's name I see that has wanted more info, and then I write them down and I build out a big master list. You can also go to your Facebook and you can look to see if anyone's liked or commented on any of your stuff who you've talked to as well. And IPA sheets, I'll send it to you. They're income producing activity sheets, and I have a video that teaches you exactly how to do them, because basically the golden rule of network marketing is to continue to build all relationships at a consistent pace, and you will start to see results, because what you do today gives you results 90 days from now. So if you don't really know what you're doing, so we focus on 3 buckets of people: introducing ourselves to brand new people, shaking hands, hey, how are you? You know that. The second way is furthering relationships you've already built. And then the third bucket is the people that you have relationships with, exposing them to Q. Because once they have trust with you and you have influence with them, then when you invite them to an opportunity, they're more likely to hear what you're saying, because they trust you and they value you. And so if you're just sending a cold message, copy paste to a brand new person you've never met before, saying, hey, I saw we connected. I don't know if you saw what I do, but I would love to invite you to a call tonight. Just by getting on the call, you can be my free product tester and blah, 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 blah. That is not going to make someone be like, oh my gosh, yes, send me the information. I can't wait to get on. People usually just open them and close them, or they'll open them and say no thanks and then get off of the page. So we want to make sure we're inviting people we're close to. So an IPA sheet is a sheet that you can do every single day to make sure you're doing the bottom foundational things that you need to do to give you results 90 days from now. So you know that if you don't do anything else that day besides that form, you still had a successful day. And so I will send that in the Breakfast Club chat in case anyone else doesn't have it either. And I'll add you to that too, Kaylee. I'll add you to the chat. But I would focus today on getting a whole list of everyone that has shown any interest in this. If you're brand new and you don't have anyone yet because you're just starting out, I would make your first initial list then of everyone that you're already close to in relationship that you can reach out and you can invite them onto the call. And the best way to do that is by voice message or picking up the phone and calling them. That's the best way. You can text them. If you normally just text them, you can just text them and say, hey, what are you doing tonight at 9 o'clock? There is something that you have got to watch. And then they say nothing, or putting the kids to bed or whatever. Okay, I'm going to send you over this Zoom link. I really want you to get on and watch this. It's this girl, Kalina, that I just met or I just heard of. And her story is so inspiring. I'm getting on to listen, but she has, and then relate them to that person. She has 4 kids just like you, or she's a homeschool mom like you, or, oh, she's also a nurse like you, or you can just say she's a mom like you, or she's really successful in business, or she's into holistic health, or she's an entrepreneur or whatever you want to say, and just say, I think you'd really find it interesting. You can just be a fly on the wall. You don't have to talk or show your face or anything, but get on this and message me when you're done because I got to know what you think. And that's all. If you're excited and you're showing up, that's how that person's going to be excited and show up too. Now, if it's someone who's been on the fence, what I would do is the same kind of message. Hey, question for you. What are you doing tonight at 9:00? And then wait for them to respond and say, I know that we talked about Q last week. I know that you were really interested in it. I really want you to get on this call with me tonight. It's this girl, Kalina, who I just heard about, and she has such an inspiring story. I cannot wait to hear it. Will you just do me a favor and get on, be a fly on the wall, and just give me your honest opinion? I really value your opinion. I want to know what you think. Can you please get on? Oh, I really wish I could, but I'm going to be working tonight. Okay, no problem. When do you have a night off? Because I think there's a couple calls coming up and I really want you to hear this info. I work midnights Monday through Friday. So that means that they couldn't get on a call. So then I would say, okay, how about this? How about I get a recording for you and I can send you a recording? What would be a good time to listen to a recording? Like maybe like to and from work, or like when's the best time for you? If they say, yeah, when I'm leaving work. Okay, cool. I'll send you this. Listen to this when you leave work today and then message me later. And then put a little reminder in your calendar, message so-and-so that day, check in on them and see if they watch the video. And that's all you're focusing on. So today, really get organized and invite as many people as you can. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't think I need 5 people to say yes. Think I need to invite 20 people. Think of the action. If you invite 20, our stats and our averages show that 10 will say yes and 5 will actually show up. So you can expect half of each group to actually get on. So if you invite 40, 20 will say yes and 10 will get on. Now your averages might be higher. Maybe you have more supportive people. Maybe they're lower. Maybe you invite 40 and have 1 get on. That's okay. We need to know your numbers because we need to know where you're going to start. Because if you invite 40 and 1 person gets on, your influence is really low. And that's okay because we can work on that. We can work on your influence. Influence is something that you can very easily grow over time. I had no influence. If you've heard my story, I was a teenager struggling with addiction, became a teen mom, was very well known as someone who was dishonest. I stole, I lied all the time. Like even my own family kicked me out and didn't talk to me. I had that. And now I'm back to a place where I have crazy influence because I worked so hard. Francesca Fields, one of the top earners here in Q, if you heard her story, she was in an inpatient rehabilitation center for a really long time when she was in high school. And she struggled with addiction for a long time. And her story is crazy. And she had no influence and she built her influence back up. So the good news is that there are lots of things you can do. I would start Googling, and in my free time, this is like a professional tip, I guess, just in life in general, try to find the activities that you do in your day that you could also be listening to something at the same time. So for me, I can focus really good on what I'm listening to while I'm cleaning my house, or driving in a car are like my 2 biggest things that I can do, or getting ready. So when I'm in the shower and getting ready or driving or cleaning, I can listen to whatever. So I never do those things, drive, clean, or get ready, without listening to something. Because why would I choose? And sometimes I just need to sometimes I won't listen to anything in the shower because I'll just pray and I'll focus on things, or I need to clear my head, and that's okay too. But for the most part, that's what I'm doing because I want to put good stuff into my head. So if you have no influence, then you need to go on YouTube and you need to put in how to grow influence, how to have influence from nothing, and find people and listen to them, and go on Audible and look for a book that helps you to grow your influence and how to get people attracted to you and how to change what you're putting out. And there is so many free tools for us to use. There are so many. So you don't have to spend money or really a lot of time even looking for this. It's just going to be on there. So do that too in your head. So Kaylee asks, before we invite, should we work on building our influence? I have some, but a lot of my people seem burnt out on network marketing. So I would not just wait while you do that. The things that you can do while you're building your influence are all the things in bucket 1 and 2 and everything else on the sheet that you can see. So you can be working really hard on doing that. And then you really don't need, because you're going to be making new connections every day. You're going to be adding 10 friends on Facebook or Instagram. You're going to be introducing yourself to 10 people every single day. So after a couple of days, you're going to start to build influence with these brand new connections. And you don't have to be best friends ever with them, but you need to know some of their pain points, which I talk about in the training video. You got to get them to open up. You have to know, like, what do you have to offer that can help someone in their life? Is it money? Is it they have headaches? Their son has special needs. Their daughter has autoimmune issues. Their husband has a back injury. They work super hard and they have no savings. Like, you need to get them to open up. And the best way to do that is for you to open up and be really raw and vulnerable and share things about your life, because then that makes someone feel that they can relate to you, that they're like, okay, I can also open up and talk about this. And just by being a friend and talking to them, they'll start to open up too. Some people open up right away and start just spewing it all. Other people wait for a while, and that person you just have to keep getting closer to, asking them questions, just being nice, caring about what they're saying. And then you can offer them up the opportunity. And so really it's just when you feel it in your soul that you have something that you can offer them, like, hey, what are you doing tonight? That's what I always ask people when they start complaining about money or pain or whatever happened, anything that I know that I can help them, I'll just say, hey, what are you doing tonight at 9? And they'll be like, I don't know yet. Why? Because my friend Kalina is going to be talking about ways that she can help you with exactly what you just said. This new business that I'm in, the products they sell, I feel like would totally help you. And I can invite you on this call. You can just be a fly on it, listen to it, don't have to talk or be on it or anything. And just let me know what you think. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not. But hey, you never know. You should at least hop on. And it's that simple. That's literally all you're doing. And if they don't get on, they don't get on. Whatever, move on. Remind them next week, hey, I know you never got on that call, but I'm telling you, you really should, because I know your husband's struggling really bad right now. And I just saw your post. I'm telling you, these products would help him. Give it a shot. There's another call coming up on Wednesday. Let me send you the info. And the average person needs to be followed up with 12 times before they get on or say yes. So that's why you need to start now and don't wait, so that you can put them in and then you follow up and you're really organized. So that way, okay, these are the people I talked to about this. These are the people I talked to about this. And the best book that I think everyone needs to start with is The 4 Color Personalities of MLM. That's the very first one that everyone should read. If you haven't read it in a while, I would re-listen to it. It's only like 3 or 4 hours long on Audible. And it's really funny and it goes by fast and it's easy to listen to. That's like the foundational book, because you need to know what color personality everyone is to know how to talk to them. That is like the number one book. And then I love the book, Take the Stairs. And it's by Rory Vaden, right? Rory? Yeah. Rory Vaden, called Take the Stairs. It's so good. I love that one. And then Kaylee podcast that I recommend is my podcast, of course, that I now have on iTunes that you can check out, called Life Minded and Free. And you can check it out on there, but I don't really listen. Oh, Jessie Lee Ward has a podcast. She's called The People's Mentor. And she's a top earner in the industry. She is top earner. And she's in the ketones company called Prove It. She gives free content. She doesn't believe in charging anyone for any of her network marketing training. She is on every social media platform you can find her, and she gives tips and helps everyone to get better. And I literally owe so much of my success to her. She doesn't even know this, but she was like the mentor that I had in my previous company, because I didn't have a leader. I didn't have anyone that could help me. And I watched all of her stuff and did everything. And she's very out there and very crazy, but you learn to love that. Like, okay, this is her, and she's, so at first you're like, oh, this girl's like a little crazy, but then you're like, this is why she's so successful, because she owns herself, and she's authentic, and she's true, and she is who she is, and she has a huge heart. So that's a really good one too to start with. But okay, so invite some people to the call tonight with Kalina. The call tonight is with Kalina. Tomorrow is with Amanda Cramey. And then we have with Jada, and then with Ashley. So they're all in, you can take the screenshots if you need them. You can invite anyone to these calls, even if you're not on our team. So you can send me a message. I can privately send you the graphics if you want me to. But yeah, so, okay. Thanks for being on. Sorry, we talked about like so many things today. Hope you guys, stayed on track. Okay. Have an awesome day. If you need anything, let me know, and we'll see you later. Bye.